Stream.
Side stream,
we
pod
can we
stream,
can
it
invent
works.
a new word.
Yeah, that should be a word, right? I feel like it
Yeah.
should be. Hmm.
That's how languages evolve. So, yeah. My
Yeah.
parents are linguists, so I had to hear about that all the time. So.
Okay, so we're on a pod stream now, and it's a Tuesday, and lots going on in the world. How is your week going so far?
It's busy. I didn't actually know there was anything going on in the world because I've been so busy. So we'll have to rely on you for the main headlines.
Well, first off, Twitter changed their algorithm.
Yeah.
And it's very clear there's a lot of money getting dumped in from the pro Israel crowd because everybody's feed has just been like inundated with tons of Zionist slop. The entire right wing hemisphere is quite literally melting down about Mamdani in New York City. People who have never even been to New York City, will never go to New York City, are losing their ever loving minds. Okay.
It's so funny.
I know. And I think it's so funny too because New York City literally elected Bill de Blasio, who is like a communist, like an actual one, you know?
Yeah.
And
Mamdani is not. He's also this side. I mean, he does. We don't share a lot of politics, but but I don't think he poses any kind of like socialist Muslim threat to America at all. Like has no discernible intent to like try to enforce Sharia law, which I guess is what they're coming up with. Is that the newest thing?
It's so retarded. So their idea is that Muslims have come up with this brilliant idea to take over America by posing as LGBTQ activists. And in fact, we have been treated to a bunch of posts about, is it called Taqiyya? Where apparently Muslims like act like something that they're not. They pretend like they're not Muslims, but Mamdani doesn't pretend like he's not a Muslim, so I don't quite understand.
I think it's
how
also.
Works.
I mean, I'm not a Muslim. I don't know that much about Islam. Maybe a little bit more than the average person, but from what I understand, Taqiyya is well, I'd say a lot more than the average person. I should correct that. Taqiyya is like it says that Muslims, they're like, you can't lie except for this one circumstance where it could save your life or someone else's or something like that. Okay. So if lying would like save your life, you can do it. So
gotcha.
It's really like the opposite of a religion that allows lying, because it's like you cannot lie except for this one little circumstance where like someone's life could be saved.
Right.
Lied.
Yeah.
So they've used this, of course, to say that like all Muslims are jihadists who are trying to take over America. I mean, this is just the most ridiculous thing, and it's. I mean, frankly, it's really projection from Zionists because they're the ones who've taken over America with their religious belief.
Right, which is just, I don't know, that we all must recognize that the land of Israel was given to Jews 3,000 years ago. Even Bill Maher came out. Bill Maher, the man who quite literally made his entire career is based on being an atheist. I didn't even know this till the other day. Apparently he was raised a Catholic. Then he found out that his mother was half Jewish, so he's like a quarter Jewish. And so he really identifies with the Jewish people. He doesn't believe anything in the Bible, thinks it's all a bunch of hocus pocus, except that one little part, apparently at some point where he thinks that God gave the land to the Jews.
I actually watched him religiously. For years. I'm embarrassed to say almost actually like 15 years. I liked him. I mean, I had my disagreements, but I liked the show until October 7th because I just couldn't bear it after that because he's such a Zionist. So I didn't realize that apparently his mother was a hardcore Zionist, and that seems to be where that came from. But I read that. So, a lot of people who aren't actually that Jewish, like they don't practice, they might be half Jewish, but they're hardcore Zionists. Like Olivia Reingold, the Free Press writer, is another example of that. So I think that's where he gets it, but I think he also just hates Muslims and Arabs, and thinks they're subhuman, and just can't conceive of the fact that they have, that they're human beings who, like everyone else, like just want to, live in peace. Most other people. Right. So I think that's where his stubbornness on this issue stems from. Because he's not a dumb guy. No,
they're not stupid. Yeah. And none of these people are stupid. Sometimes they say really dumb stuff, and I always have to remind myself, they don't believe this crap. They just think that we're stupid. It's actually an insult. They are insulting us at all times. They're insulting our intelligence. But I've never been a Bill Maher fan. I've actually passionately hated both he and Sam Harris forever. Really hated Sam Harris.
I hate Sam Harris. I've hated Sam Harris for much longer. I was like a hardcore atheist in my early 20s. That was my little dabble with that for 2 years. And then I caught on to Sam Harris pretty early, and Richard Dawkins. I realized that they had broader agendas and that they weren't intellectually consistent as well. But it took me longer with Bill Maher to really loathe him.
Right, yeah, because he's got the kind of laugh, he's got humor, and sometimes he does say funny things, and he does poke a little fun at the left. Regardless, his new thing has become, apparently he's very concerned about the Christians in Nigeria, which, not to make light of the awful things happening to people in Nigeria, absolutely, and I know, but it is a little bit humorous because these people have never given two shits about anyone in Nigeria, Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, anybody in Nigeria ever. It has never been anything for them other than a cudgel that they can use to beat against people who criticize Israel, but not the Muslims in Nigeria that the American government doesn't fund or supply or give any backing to whatsoever. So our protests would be totally pointless, right? That's become his new thing. So over the weekend, if you guys didn't see, I'm sure you did if you were on X, Jasper Nathaniel, he is a Jewish journalist. He's anti-Zionist Jew who just really does really great work. I really like Jasper a lot. He's got a very, he's a liberal. He's pretty liberal, but he's just got a very kind of down-to-earth approach that he takes to this whole, to Israel, but also to American politics as well. And so we've been mutuals for a long time. And anyways, he's in the West Bank to document the olive harvest, which I think he was just there to do not any anti-Israel stuff. From what I could tell, he was just there to do kind of some humanitarian, hey, look at Palestinians harvesting their olives and how important this is to the heritage and everything. And what happened to him over the weekend is nuts. These videos coming out of the West Bank are just crazy. Jasper is led into, so he gets an escort. They get an escort. He and his team get an escort from the IDF to the olive fields. The IDF then leaves, and according to Jasper, they know that this gang of settlers is all around. And we have a video of Jasper just as the IDF is pulling out, this literally like a gang, I'd say 50 at least, settlers come in. They're wearing all black masks over their faces. They descend on this farm, this, is it called an orchard? An orchard? Where?
I think they call them more like groves, or I don't know.
Oh, grove. Okay, all grove.
Yeah.
And they have clubs, and they ended up beating a elderly Palestinian woman. I believe she's 60 years old.
She was actually only 55. When I saw that, I was like, everyone's calling her elderly.
Okay.
Middle-aged.
Right. So, but yeah, well, she's still.
It's a harder life there. People look a little older at that age.
They do. Yeah, but I don't know. My parents are moving into a 55 and older community, so technically, I think you do actually qualify for the early bird special at 55. Regardless, this man comes down with literally a club, a wooden club, and hits her 3 times, causes a brain bleed, brain hemorrhage, a bleed on her brain. They steal all of the olives harvested. And it's just this scene of chaos that, again, it happens all the time, but had Jasper not been there, it would have just been another thing, right? And it would have just been another story where Palestinians said, and then nobody believed, because it was like, oh, well, it's going to, they're just.
It probably wouldn't even make it into Western media, is my guess.
No. And so what do you know? tonight we have came out. Jasper specifically asked. Well, he asked for the State Department to basically contact the Israeli government and say, hey, like, freaking fix this. Fix, we need security over here for Americans in the West Bank. State Department or the embassy says nothing we can do. Sorry, we're very sympathetic, but nothing we can do. Then Jasper asked to meet. He had a direct political contact, asked to meet with the prime minister, or excuse me, with Mike Huckabee, the American ambassador. Huckabee says no.
Wow.
Huckabee meets with literally, every Tom, Dick, and Harry in Israel all day long. We get the videos, but when an American in high distress who has been physically accosted by Israelis, when he requests to meet, I don't have time.
Yeah. Oh, that's disgusting. He had time to sing some horrible Sweet Home Alabama rendition to Israel, right?
I will never forgive them for Israeli Sweet Home Alabama. I'm not even gonna lie. I will never forgive them for that. Yeah. Ugh. So that's happening.
Horrific. Yeah. Just horrific.
And then we had what else did we have? We did have a story come out from the New York Post. Virginia Giuffres, who was one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. She came out, and this has been reported before. Julie Brown had a piece about it in her book. It's not unknown, but it was pretty graphic, the details in Virginia's book about this experience she had with Ehud Barak, who was the prime minister of Israel for, I believe it was 2 years, but he's Israel's most decorated soldier ever. He led the what's called the Operation God's Spring, Gilead Spring, something like that, which is attached to the response to the Munich bombings, but it's considered part of the Munich bombings assassinations, in which Ehud Barak busts into the homes of these PLO, the leaders of the PLO, and murdered them and their wives in 1973. It's a pretty quote unquote famous. It's crazy how these acts of terrorism are celebrated. It's oh, this is great that Israel did this. It's really bad when you bomb people, but if you bust into the leaders' homes and then you murder them and their wives, that's not terrorism. It's heroism. Whatever. Anyway, so Virginia Giuffre accuses Ehud Barak of raping her and then beating her. So she wasn't.
She accused him in the book. Sorry.
Yeah.
But she committed suicide, right? Or am I mixing people up?
That's what we're.
Or she. Well, she appeared. Yes, that's.
That's what we're told.
So wait, how is this a new allegation?
So I guess there's details in the book that had not been.
She had written but hadn't come out before she died.
Yeah,
okay.
She just it was ghostwritten, so which is very common. I mean, almost all biographies are ghostwritten these days. Most people actually don't know how to write, so it is what it is. But so she died, and I believe it was April, and now it's coming out, which is the timeline is right. And so but the allegations are, I mean, they're pretty rough. They say that he choked her and then beat her. He beat her, he bruised her face up. And so the New York Post runs an article which says well-known prime minister beat Virginia Giuffre, which was the beginning of the end. But of course, the Post makes you go 7 paragraphs down before they tell you what country he was the prime minister of.
Yeah, of course.
And so that was lots of fun. But when I say lots of fun, it's only because everybody kind of dragged the Post for that article. And,
I saw the dragging the Post, but I didn't read the background, so I wasn't exactly sure the series of events.
Yep.
So that was.
And then I think the last thing that we've come to. So Candace is going to come back. I know everybody is waiting, like, on pins and needles. She's got lots of good stuff. And she'll be back when she's back and she's ready. And you will be glad that you waited. Trust me. And that's all I'm going to say. Everything is fine. She's doing good. And last time I talked to her, she was doing good, which was just a couple days ago. And so, yeah, that is about it. But today we have some free speech stuff going on, but not here in the US, in the UK. So for those who don't know, Dr. Ramallah, I believe it is Ramallah, right? Who is on, she is, hold on, I'm pulling her up right now. I want to make sure that I have this exactly right. Rameh Aladwan. Oh my gosh, she's gonna kill me. I'm sorry. So let me share right here, and you guys can see. She's so lovely. She's so beautiful right here, and she's this wonderful doctor out of the NHS. She's British, but she's also Palestinian, and she's extremely outspoken. I adore her. I think she's, number one, she's hilarious. Number two, but she just doesn't mince any words. She is, I don't want to say cutthroat, but because she's just real and raw. And so today, these psychos at the, in Britain, and I'm going to kind of shake my finger a little bit at the British, who the Brits have had a problem with free speech for a while, right? Anything on online, like they just throw you in jail left and right.
Oh, Europe is much worse than the US. Like Germany, France, especially the UK. They were bad during COVID, and Australia, which is obviously not in Europe, but kind of has European flavor to it, really bad. They arrested people for like posting things about not wanting to wear masks or get the vaccine in Australia. And Britain has been, and France, but Britain especially, I would say, just been abominable when it comes to Palestine. Actually arresting like old people for holding signs saying "Stop the genocide" on the grounds that's like anti-Semitic, I guess, or terrorist support or something.
Yeah. Well, they had this group, Palestine Action, which actually did do some, I don't know, I think some pretty BA activism. Certainly done a lot more than a lot of these kind of big talkers in other countries. I won't call out at the time. But these kids, I don't know, they did industrial sabotage, which obviously I don't endorse, but at the same time, it's like, what else are you supposed to do when your freaking government won't listen to you as they're like supplying the bombs for babies to be murdered, tens of thousands of them. So Palestine Action was the group, and any support whatsoever was literally outlawed in Britain. You could not say any combination of the word Palestine in action.
Or I think even just Palestine.
Or no, you couldn't say Palestinian action. Or you couldn't say action for Palestine. There was all these crazy things that they just started arresting people left and right for all this BS, right? And so, because they said that Palestine Action is a terrorist group and you can't support terrorism, it just, for me, after Syria and after watching, I can't even remember his name right now, that just now the president of Syria, we had a $10 million bounty on his head. It's like all terrorism is just fake and gay. It's just what they don't like at the time, One day you're a freaking terrorist, the other day you're a freedom fighter. There's no consistency whatsoever. So F off. Okay. You can commit criminal acts. We don't actually have to add the label of terrorism, right? It's just a way for you to kind of like scare the booms into, getting really worked up about it.
Yeah, it's a way to silence people and punish behavior and speech without having to engage with it. You just say that's terrorism. You're supporting terrorists, and then everyone's supposed to, shut up, or else you're in trouble. So it really is just it's completely abused as a label, and I mean, it really has been since 9/11. I mean, I think it started with that. Just really.
Yeah, no. I agree. Yeah, and it's just
not that I don't think 9/11 was terrorism, by the way. I want to be very clear.
Well, yeah,
but I think then it spiraled into this just use of the term terrorism. I mean, maybe the Israelis had done that for a long time. I actually think they probably did do that before 9/11, but I was young, so I don't remember. But yeah, and I mean, especially since October 7th, it's just out of control here too. I mean, it doesn't manifest the same way because we have stronger free speech protections, but they basically did the same thing with like Mahmoud Khalil. I mean, and Ramez Ozturk said like supporting Palestine is the same as terrorism. Terrorists, throw them away, get them out of the country. So it's not that different. Just Britain was like that on steroids, and they were doing it to citizens, which is we haven't gotten there yet.
Right. And, I mean, the definition of terrorism is just, the use of violence for political ends. Right. Yeah. And so and that's why, of course, they can label almost anything related to political. What happened to Charlie Kirk, of course, would be political terror. It's terrorism. It technically, because
they charged Luigi Mangione with terrorist-related offenses. I think they dropped them. I think the prosecutor dropped them. But it's like if that's terrorism, what isn't? Like, what's even the point of just? I mean, terrorism is supposed to be something beyond murder.
Right. Well, I could see. Right. Well, I could see, like, because again, supposedly he had some kind of political motive behind it. But it's like, well, then what murder isn't terrorism outside of domestic violence? Because usually there's some kind of quote unquote political, action to it, whether it be like black on white crime or white on black crime or anything like that. Even, socioeconomic crime. I mean, you could stretch it and you could certainly call it that. I don't know. Maybe that's me stretching. But and so do we have a chat?
Yeah, he's just saying the Israelis have been doing the terrorism thing since the 70s.
They invented terror. Well, not the 70s. They invented terrorism in the 30s, from what I understand. Because today, I don't know.
I think Sammy means that they've been misusing the term, but he can clarify if that's not right. I'm not sure.
Do you know who Tommy Robinson is?
Yeah.
So he's like, and I know you guys are going to get mad at me when I say this. I'm only saying, like, to try to, for people who don't know who Tommy Robinson is, just as far as like this kind of niche cult following, he's kind of like the British version of Nick Fuentes, but only in that, because he's a total sellout. I don't like Tommy Robinson at all. I think he's a dumbass, but he does have this like cult following, a lot like Nick has a following that's just like crazy loyal. And I know this because I criticized him today, and they came after me.
But his main shtick is anti-Muslim, right?
Right. Yeah, he's like super. He like hates Muslims. It's weird because I used to think he was like super anti-immigration, but apparently he's not. He's like all for Indian immigration. Which is, it's like, okay, whatever. I don't know. But okay, yes. So Sammy says that Israel has been calling it all violence against them terrorism, and since the 70s, But and I would agree with that, and I would say it's probably I mean, definitely I think the word terrorism definitely came into the lexicon in like common use in the 70s, in the early 70s, like post Munich, probably 72. So
it's also worth mentioning nothing they do is ever terrorism. That's the irony. Of course, they can blow up babies and grandmas and snipe kids in the head, and that's not terrorism though, because they're the good guys. That's basically what it is. Like, they label you good or bad, and if you're a good guy, you can never commit terrorism. If you're a bad guy, you're always committing terrorism. Right.
And so, Tommy Robinson's over in Israel right now with a whole gaggle of new influencers. James Lindsay's over there.
Oh my God. I saw a picture of him kissing the wall but I wasn't sure if it was fake or not.
Oh, because his chin is like disappeared.
No, because it was like groveling. The tweet was so disturbing.
Yeah, no,
I thought
real.
like maybe
it's
someone
real.
had faked it. Oh, okay, it's real. So yeah. I didn't want to like go around saying this is James Lindsay doing this, because I was like, this might be fake, because he was, what was it like?
It's like, Lord, I'm here, send here. Me.
Yeah, I was like, what? Also, isn't he an atheist? What is he talking about?
He is an atheist. Yeah. And I quote tweeted him and said, let's hope your first mission is to find your chin. Because dude is like, it's awful. Oh my gosh, somebody's gonna clip that. But yeah, he's just such a turd. And then Valentina Gomez. Do you know who she is?
Oh, yeah, she's horrible.
She's just awful. She's over there. And then Tommy Robinson is there now. But Tommy Robinson, who at one point blamed Jews for all of the immigration into Great Britain. So they have like been like putting him on a humiliation fest. Like literally the guy, I mean, if he weren't such a giant tit, I'd probably feel sorry for him, because he's just on this like constant humiliation tour, right? Everywhere he goes. Yesterday he's in somebody's office and I forget who it was, and it's so weird. It's so weird. They're talking about like the Holocaust and stuff, and then Tommy's like, and you have this book, and the dude like takes his hand and he like stops Tommy's arm because it's clear he's speaking too soon. The guy hasn't finished what he's going to say. And he finishes his little spiel about like the Holocaust and all of these things. And then he picks up this book and he's like, here we have a book. And it's so weird because Tommy's like clearly rattled and doesn't know what to do the whole time, because it's like a very stern warning. Like, I'm not finished talking, don't you move. And it's just a book apparently of Jew written 6 million times. Which I'm like, this is propaganda. Like that's like a giant book of propaganda, bro. Like, what the, that's weird. Okay. Yeah. Nobody's saying that that wasn't horrific or anything like that, but this is weird. Okay.
Yeah.
And why are you making him do this video? So then today he's with this like literal Israeli spokesperson. I'm not even shitting you. I swear to you this happened. And this guy is pissed because Britain is going to recognize the state of Palestine. And he tells Tommy Robinson, there's a special place in hell for the British.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
What the fuck? If somebody said that to me about Americans, I'd lose my shit. Okay? I'm not even lying.
Yeah, no, so is he, what's Tommy Robinson's Israel position? I assume,
he's hardcore pro-Israel. He loves
Israel. That's why I thought like he's not really that politically like Nick Fuentes, at least in.
No, he's not. When I say like Nick, and I knew like people were going to take issue.
You didn't mean the actual substance of it.
No, I was just trying to like think of like popularity. Yeah. Because he is very popular as like a nationalist and whatnot. So just that. And so,
but we didn't think what happened to Dr. What's her name? Dr. Ramallah?
I'm so sorry. Yes. And so I love her because she gives great analysis. She really does talk about things that people don't like to talk about, which is like the issue of Jewish supremacy, which is a core component of Zionism. It is what it is. And you can't really get around to that. And if you don't like that, well, then you just don't want to have an honest conversation about it. A lot of people like to talk about like white supremacy and whatnot. And she's like, no, this is bullshit. It's not white supremacy. Yeah. It is, in fact, Jewish supremacy. And of course, that doesn't mean all Jews. But, I feel like I'm like so tired of saying that. If I say talk about white supremacy, I don't have to say it's not all white people.
All white people, yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, grow up. Learn how to have a conversation. Yeah. And so she talks about that anyways. So she was arrested. So they have been filing. When I say they, I mean these Zionists, but specifically a lot of Jews, but not just Jews. There have been Christian Zionists who have filed these complaints against her with the NHS. And she has never had a complaint. She's a doctor.
Trying to get her fired.
Trying to get her fired from the NHS. Yeah. Yeah. Saying that she's anti-Semitic. She's never had a complaint from a patient. They have a shortage of doctors with the NHS, so don't really know who this is going to benefit, right? Well, we know who it's going to benefit, and it sure as shit isn't the British people, right? And so she's always like sailed through all of her review boards because she's a good doctor. She has no complaints, and her patients love her. And so this latest one again happened. Well, they immediately filed another one, and now they are pressing again charges against her for inciting hatred online. And she was arrested this morning. And again, her posts are strictly anti-Israel. When you can't criticize a foreign country, free speech is dead in your country, period.
Well, I mean, it's on life support here. It's if you are a citizen who doesn't work and who isn't in school or teaches at a school, you can say whatever you want. But for everybody else, you can get deported, you can lose your job, and you can get kicked out of school. So, so the majority of people, probably have one of those things going on.
Oh, yeah.
So you really don't. I mean, I don't say...
It's crazy.
I've been able to say, since I have a new job, in this sort of field, I've been able to be a little bit more free, but I still can't say, I'm a lawyer. I can't say exactly what I think.
Right. Right. You can't, but if you're a Zionist lawyer, you can. You can say the most horrific things imaginable. If you're if you're a Jewish Zionist politician like Randy Fine, you can call for another Holocaust and no one will say anything, which is
he literally said glass yesterday or the other day about Gaza.
Yep, he said there's no more living. And I was telling a girlfriend today, I was talking with her, and she has really come around. It's taken a long time. Woo, Lord help me. She's a normie. And Lord, it has taken it's taken 2 years to kind of bring her around.
That's dedication, though. I give up on those people. I'm like, let's just talk about something else. The weather. I don't have the patience for this.
I do. I love my normies because I used to be one, so I am super empathetic. I do understand what it's like to be in this constant Fox News bubble, and this is all you ever hear. Oh my God. I don't post this, but my parents don't watch the podcast all the way, so I know by the 30-minute mark I can say this and they won't ever hear it. But when they come, they leave Fox News on. Holy crap. The freaking non-stop propaganda that goes on Fox News. This was 2 weeks ago. They were here. I was because it was funny because it was left on and they had already left. My parents are no kidding. They're they play cornhole. They were at the state championship. And my mother is this is now 2 years. Well, last year she was the gold. She won gold in the senior women's cornhole competition for the state of North Carolina. And this year she won silver. But so they had come and they were staying here and then they're going to their competition, but they left the Fox News on. And I was listening to it as I'm typing away at my computer. And I'm like, what? This is insane. What's going holy shit. If the boomers are marinating in this all day long, no wonder they haven't. It is I'm talking every third story is something to do with anti-Israel crap. It's so if this is all you ever hear, I do try to be patient with people and even though I lose my patience a lot, if you're dehumanizing, and my parents of course are never they have come around a whole they're very, they just want all war to end, everything like that. They want peace and everything, but they would never say anything like glass it. They're disgusted by stuff like that. But I'm but again, they're exposed to me. Just as much, if not more. Where I'm
I mean, can you imagine if a congressperson said glass it about Israel? Can you imagine? That person would
Yeah. She said, but so Stanley says, my mom believes Hugo Chavez is taking over America. Honey.
And making me Hamas.
Trust me. Okay, y'all have no idea. There's been many after October 7th. There was many a tear shed in this house. Okay, there was screaming matches for multiple ones. Holy crap! You have no idea.
I had that during COVID, but my parents wouldn't let me come. I mean, they're divorced, so it's 2 separate houses, but they wouldn't let me come. I was gonna come visit for Christmas, October 2020, and they wouldn't. Or sorry, December 2020, and they wouldn't let me. Because they're like, you don't wear a mask, you can't come.
Oh no.
But Palestine, we're all on the same page there.
So. Everybody's like, oh yeah. Oh no. It's so funny because on COVID, they got vaccinated the first time around, second, but they never got like any boosters because they're crazy. They're village crazy lady doctor. I always called, I'm like their voodoo doctor. And, I'm like, no, you're not getting that. And you're taking this and you're taking this. And, it's funny at a certain point, it's cool when your parents are like, okay, I'll take your advice over, and, thank God, they did, and everything's been fine. And now it's so cute because my mom calls me all the time and she's like, your cousin, she got that 4th booster, and I'm telling you, she's not been right. She's not been right ever since. Yeah.
That's so funny.
It's hilarious now. Every time my mom now, she's like, did they get boosted?
Well, I should probably go because I hear my toddler being a pain, and my husband's been putting up with him all day. So
yes,
I can still hear him.
So we shall be back.
He's a little early, but
yes, we should be back.
Friday,
I think it's Friday, and then Sunday, and we are working. It's funny because I reached out to a couple different people, and everyone's like, "Oh, definitely want to come on, just not this week." So, and
we'll get some guests on soon. It's not Mel's fault too. My new job's been very busy, so it's hard to schedule stuff in advance with someone else. But
yes, I agree. It's not left and right. We need to be. I really do feel like this, like anybody basically, I think it's really under the age of 50 is like, because even like a lot of like 40-year-olds, I have a lot of followers in their 40s, these like maybe older millennial, younger Gen X's, like they get it. Like they totally get it.
It's mixed. The ones in DC.
Yeah.
I'm always pretty alone in my thinking at those parties.
Yeah, but you're young for like that crowd. Like you're older millennial. You're like solid millennial. So
yeah. Not the Gen Xers are.
Gen Xers. I know. What the hell, guys? But
anyway.
All right.
Well,
we'll see you guys later.
We'll see you guys soon.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.